So, Rupert Lowe has gone on to Joe Rogan while he's been over in Texas this week, and I, for one, am quite happy about it. And I'm going to get into why in a moment or two. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It does help the channel out a lot. While in America, notwithstanding the creator of Father Ted, you can pretty much say whatever you want on air, because they have the First Amendment, which protects foreign nationals when they go over to America as well, and they don't have Ofcom. And if you add into this, Joe Rogan himself on YouTube alone has subscriber counts of 21 million, and Rupert Lowe's podcast, which was only uploaded earlier today, has already got over, well, coming up to 500,000 views in 6 hours, coming up to 7 hours. It's getting the message out, and it's plugging Restore Britain, and it's a 2-hour podcast, and it's really good. I do recommend that you watch the whole thing. But it goes into everything that we talk about on small YouTube channels on a daily basis, whether that's demographic replacements, we're not represented in our own parliaments, two-tier policing, becoming a minority on our homeland, people not integrating or assimilating into British life, migrants being prioritised over British citizens, whether that's NHS treatments, dental, housing, schools, and if you criticise the religion of peace, you could end up in prison because you're being Islamophobic, while we have Christian street preachers getting arrested. There's a lot to like and there's a lot to enjoy in this video on Joe Rogan's podcast. However, it's preaching to the choir with the watchers of my channel, and it's preaching to the converted. There's nothing terribly new in this from my perspective, being included in political junkie on the right. We even get into the Fabian Society. They get into the fact that you have to mind your P's and your Q's, or you can't get on TV. You don't get booked if you have the wrong opinions. They get into the nuance of all of this, and there's a lot to like and enjoy. So why am I so happy about it? Because there's a lot of people that are subscribers to Joe Rogan in America, in the West, and in the United Kingdom that are not political junkies, that will watch this and they'll stumble upon this video and they'll watch it and they'll think, this doesn't reflect the Britain I know. Why doesn't this reflect the Britain I know? And they'll start to question the legacy media narrative line. They'll start to criticise why their MPs aren't picking up these important issues in Parliament, why whenever you send a letter reflecting any of these points to your MP, you effectively get stonewalled. As I've previously mentioned on the channel, written many letters to previous Labour MPs in my area under various times, and they only respond to specific issues that they want to talk about. And I'm going to play a specific clip. Now, this is just a clip that I really liked. There is a lot more I could have pulled from, and if I'm going to critique the entire Joe Rogan Experience podcast, I'm going to be here for 10 hours, so I do recommend that you do watch it. But I'm going to play this clip now.
Cultures that if you allow them to come into your community and then they institute the laws of the country where they came from, you're going to have a real problem. Like, they don't live the way you live. They don't have the same respect for women that you have. They don't treat them the same way. They don't allow dogs. Like, there's a lot of...
Oh yeah, we do know that they don't like dogs. We're getting places in our countryside that are going to be dog-free now, and that's because certain people don't like dogs. And the lefties are all too happy to go on TV and talk about that. They plug it as being anti-racist. That's why you want dog-free zones. Not about that.
One of the problems is dogs. And actually, this isn't just about the fact that a lot of Muslims find dogs very difficult.
There's nothing about that. And you get the libtard lefties that go on TV and preach this line when they know it's about a specific thing, and we all know it's about a specific thing. Now, Joe here, I believe he did mention Islam before the clip started, but that's what he's specifically talking about. And he's right. When you get to a particular point in a demographic shift in a particular country, things change, and things change really, really quickly. I've mentioned I think that is why equality laws are in place in Britain, to keep the white indigenous population down until the country reaches tipping point. Then the equality laws are removed. Minorities will no longer be protected because the laws were never there for that. They were there to keep me and you in place while this shift continues in Britain. These are just my thoughts, but I digress.
Like, right. Stuff that a lot of people might not even be aware that come with that problem. It's like the idea is supposed to be that Western society is inclusive and progressive because we're intelligent and educated and we care. But you can care so much that you let in criminals, and then you give those criminals all your money, and then the criminals can take over your country slowly but surely. So, and this is no one thinks that's a possible thing. No, and people look at the Colosseum, you look at ancient Greece, and they think, wow, I wonder what happened to those guys. What do you think happened? Probably the same shit that's happening right now to England, the same shit that could have happened to America. It's civilizations fall apart for various reasons. And one.
It doesn't help that a core demographic on the left, and I do mean the left, I don't mean the imported diaspora, actually want the West to fall. And they are enabling the more radical elements of the religion of peace and the Fabians and all the other protected characteristics on the left to achieve their aim. So you do get useful idiots, but there's a whole toxic mix on the left, and they all need to be purged.
Great way to get them to fall apart is to bring in a bunch of people, and they don't have to follow your laws, and they bring the laws of, wherever they're from, whatever fundamentalist religion country they're from, where they have a bunch of crazy laws that are kind of archaic.
Well, this is Sharia law, Islamic law, as you probably know. I mean, again, to your point, I think the best example I can give people of what happens if you do that is when Lebanon got its independence in 1948. They were a Christian country, and they were a very confident country. They were, they had the best universities. They had a very open society. I never went to Beirut. I don't know if you went to Beirut, but Beirut in the 60s was meant to be the best place on earth to be.
Lebanon's one example, but you can add to that Egypt, and you can add to that Afghanistan, for example, of examples of predominantly Christian countries, or at least where Christianity was the dominant religion. As soon as you get imported diasporas of the conquering religion, the religion of peace, sarcastic quote marks, things change, and things change quickly. And the lefties end up getting thrown off roofs, in my opinion. You can see it yourself. And I cannot imagine any other politician going on Joe Rogan and being so frank and honest about all of this stuff. This is why I back Rupert Lowe, because he says what he thinks and he means what he says, in my view. Comment below if you think I'm right about this, and you let me know, do you think I'm barking up the right tree here about the exposure to the cause, that he'll say and do things that other MPs will not? I believe he's the first sitting MP on the Joe Rogan Experience. He may actually be the very first British politician on it as well. This is welcome, and long may it continue.
Great wine, freedom, very very enlightened. It was lots of people were there. The minute that the Muslim population went over about 15%, you started to get a problem with a civil war. You got the Druze and Maronite Christians in a civil war with the Muslims, and now Lebanon is a Muslim country, and Hezbollah, backed by Iran, is effectively running the show.
Cultures.
So we'll end this one here. We'll end this here. And we'll move on to the next clip just to juxtapose what Rupert has just said here against what another politician in Britain said a few years ago.
But the nub of it is, we have a Muslim population in Britain growing by about 75% every 10 years. Right? That's just where we are.
Mm-hmm.
If we politically alienate the whole of Islam, we will lose.
We'll lose.
So how does one include
We
them?
will lose.
Pick your poison, I guess. I'm not going to comment on this, but just compare and contrast the two videos and let me know who do you have faith in to get the job done. No judgment here. This isn't a judgy channel. I invite open discourse and debate. Well, I'm going to end this here. It's about getting exposure on the issues to the broadest range of people possible who are not political junkies, who get their news on BBC, who get their news off the legacy media, and may not know specifically what is going on in this United Kingdom because it's not in front of their eyes. They don't see it day to day. I had a very instructive conversation with somebody recently, and they said until something directly impacts them, they won't believe it. This is going to change with Operation Scatter because the urban centres all over the UK are suitably diverse, and now the rest of the country is going to get a rude awakening. Like and subscribe, do that good stuff. I'll see you in the next video.